And great. So a lot of you are already aware of Citizens Committee, but just for people who may be new, we are a nonprofit that was founded in the 70s during another crisis, kind of New York's fiscal crisis, when the city didn't have funds for a lot of basic services like sanitation. And really it was just New Yorkers coming together to want to help other New Yorkers with the mentality that, you know, you can just be a group of people. You don't need to have expertise or special skills to be able to like help your community. And the way that's evolved today is through our small grants. Our main program being the neighborhood grant, which has now become the all-in neighborhood grant. And then as well as workshops, which I'm sure some of you have attended, that go over things like community organizing and grassroots fundraising, and just kind of cultivating a network of grassroots groups throughout the city. And yeah, so great. So in terms of 2020 neighborhood grants, we've emailed folks updates, and you know, thanks for your patience as we are figuring out our timeline for that. And we'll give you an update by the end of May. So yeah, so I guess we can start with doing introductions. In the interest of time, since I'm sure everyone's very busy, we'll do brief intros. So if you want to do your name, neighborhood, borough, and 2 to 3 words about the COVID related work you're doing. So for example, be like Keenan, Flatbush, Brooklyn, food distribution. And so maybe what I'll do, I don't like calling on people. That feels very teachery, but maybe just for the sake of like smooth Zoom meeting, maybe I will just call on people if that's okay. Or I'll call on someone and then you can call on someone else. Yeah, that sounds more fun. So I'll call on someone and then you can call on someone else. So I'll start with Veronica.
Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica. I live in Masbeth, and that's in Queens. I am currently going to be working on creative writing and turning it into PSA short films with with students between the ages of 13 and 18-year-old. I'm the executive director of the International Puerto Rican Heritage Film Festival. Sorry, I think I said more than I had to.
Great.
Don't get me started. I have to pick someone, right? I will pick Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I live in Flatbush in Brooklyn, and I've been doing food distribution and cultivation. How about, sorry, I'm struggling to read, Imani. I think you're muted, Imani.
Greetings, Imani Gail Gillison from the Gowanus Houses Events Planning Steering Committee. And we actually house the Theater of the Liberated, and we've been doing distribution of food, masks, antiseptic gel. We also gave out holistic packets of herbs and teas and garlic and ginger. So we're trying to do an East meets West approach with residents. And we're planning on hosting some social distancing Tai Chi and Qigong as well. And also, we are also currently through Theater of the Liberated working on a project of, before all of this took off, we were working on a project with grieving mothers because we've had a lot of criminal justice issues on the campus. And that's in Gowanus, Brooklyn. And so we're actually weaving that into what's happening now as well. So. Oh, and I will pass that just to the sister with the Diana Ross hair. It says Freeman.
Oh, it says I'm muted by host.
You should be good now.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm Maria Freeman, Secretary of the 119th Block Association in Harlem. We're going to do food distribution, grab and goes, hand sanitizers, masks, and we're also discussing food gift certificates so people can buy what they want from the, various neighborhood food stores and drugstores, because people need thermometers, they need to gauge what, as we go back into our regular livelihoods, people will need to know, if their, temperature is right. We have needs for babies, various baby drugs, such as thermometers and the like. So we're kind of getting circulars from our neighborhood food and drug stores to kind of pinpoint exactly what we want to get for those grab and goes. And I will pick 1W Lou.
Oh, you're
Can't-
muted. Okay, there we go. Oh,
Hear me?
yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So, Crystal Butler, I want to know
It's a little sketchy,
why
the sound.
this number goes up. And I'm on a prayer line, so maybe that. Huh?
It's a little hard to hear you, Crystal. It's just a little
What happened?
staticky.
Can you hear me now?
It's so-so. Maybe if you just
Hear me
continue,
now?
it'll get better.
It might be better if you just do the voice and turn off the video. Sometimes that helps.
Say that again.
If you turn off the video and just do voice, sometimes it's clearer to hear someone.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Better? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Crystal Butler, Family to Family Community Project, Morris Heights in the Bronx. We've given out masks and gloves in Harlem at my church. Been feeding my neighbors, and I started a youth conversation hope line in Harlem as well. And what we're going to be doing is making masks in Harlem, the Bronx, and Queens to distribute to the community. I'm also going to be distributing some of the masks to people coming out of incarceration with Flowers Foundation, which provides services for families of incarcerated people. That's it. Did everybody hear me?
Yeah. So do you want to call, are you able
Hello?
to call on someone?
Hello? Y'all
Yeah.
heard me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Tyree is in the building. Tyree?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, hi. My name is Tyree, and I'm the Executive Director and President of the Resident Association of Lafayette Gardens. And we specifically target the 27 developments in NYCHA developments in Western Brooklyn. We help distributing with PPE, food, and we just got an idea, which I'm going to steal, that we can do baby supplies. I didn't know that we could do that, but we're going to now focus on that, medical and baby supplies for our seniors and our parents. And I'm going to choose Gabriel.
Hi, Gabriel Van Houten, VP at the Tilder Block Association. We've been doing a fair bit of organizing on our block, or our essentially our 6-block radius that we work in. and a lot of that's been around checking in with neighbors and making sure people have what they need. But the big project that we've been working on, and the project we'll continue to work on with this grant, is building victory gardens. So we've been building large raised beds at homes around the neighborhood. We've done 7 of them so far, and we're looking forward to continuing that work. Pick on Michelle, who's with the Tilder Block Association as well, to kind of
so this is both Michelle and Cornelius. I'm her husband.
Hi.
How to go beyond what Gabby's already said. So we want to address some food insecurity in the neighborhood and a sense of proactiveness in growing your own food. Each bed will support up to 40 plants in cycle, potentially feed 1 or 2 households per box. And I think this sort of like builds on a network that we had already built around neighborhood beautification. So this is a sort of like more active next step. I think that's kind of all I have. Have we heard from Tyree?
we have.
I think Eva, Mandy, Anthony, Tamara. So either of those people.
So let's go with Eva.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Eva Lopez, and it's okay. And we are with the Act for Change Violence Prevention Project. Our project is kind of interesting because we primarily do okay, I'm looking kind of crazy right now. So we primarily do forum theater performances that address the various social issues that occur in the Mott Haven and in the Corona section and Morrisana section of the Bronx. So that really kind of got put to a stop for us. And so some of the things that we've been doing with in regards to the COVID relief was to do food distribution in partnership with the Latino Pastoral Action Project. And so now our goal is we're kind of, because we're more performance oriented rather than technologically sophisticated, we're kind of working now to move a lot of the works that we created onto video and on the social media platforms to share them with the community and to address some of the the universal health precautions. We're working right now in collaboration with the Lincoln Hospital, and we're also going to be touching base with the 3rd Avenue Business District, Development District, so that we can show a lot of the projects to folks in the community. So that's sort of what we're doing right now. And now that I'm hearing all of your ideas, I'm like, I wonder if we could do that too. So I'll touch base. I'll let you guys know later what other things we'll try to embark upon. And let me see, I'll select Veronica.
I was the first one, so.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, who is left?
Anthony.
Mandy and Anthony.
Oh, I have to, okay, Anthony. I don't see Anthony, wait a minute.
Good afternoon, all. Anthony Posada from Project Attica Community Through the Arts. We're housed in East Elmhurst, but we do citywide services. That's Elmhurst, Queens. For COVID-related services, we've pivoted to offering restorative and healing circles, as well as know your rights workshops that talk about rights that we have during police encounters, so COVID-19 and with social distancing enforcement. Along the lines of the restorative circles, we're also offering yoga and meditation. We're offering recently held a workshop for community members to learn about podcasting and radio and streaming 101. So we're going to continue to expand in that direction, and continue broadening the services of the circles, which for the most part were held first initially with people who were formerly incarcerated re-entering, and now we're expanding them to work with the community, undocumented community, especially here in Queens. Circles for those who have lost loved ones during COVID-19 and have not had an ability to have closure. And so that's another way in which we're expanding as well.
Great. So I think we have Mandy and Tamara left.
Just do Tamara.
Hey, Tamara.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tamara Oyola Santiago. I'm pronounced as she, her, hers. I am with Bronx Mobile. We are a street-based harm reduction organization here in the Bronx. So we're completely bilingual, Spanish, English. We go out and we do outreach for people who live on the streets, who are experiencing housing insecurity and who use drugs. So when we go out, we give out naloxone, syringes, fit packs, wound care kits, condoms, all of that. And with COVID-19, what we've done is we've integrated PPE. And we've also been able to integrate full meals donated by St. Francis of Assisi Church. So we go out every weekend. The need is real. We're seeing more and more hunger out there. And so I'll just say really quickly that as I hear all the people, we focus on the Bronx, right? That's why Bronx Mobile. So as I heard Eva and other people who are doing work in the Bronx, I'm like, wait, we need to connect, wait. And so because, you know, we're a group of volunteers, we have no funding. This is very, very grateful to Citizens Committee for this pot of money. And so a lot of it is about leveraging resources and stuff. So anyway, thank you, Citizens Committee, and nice to meet you all. And I guess Mandy, right? Last one.
I give a quick one, but since you guys were so informative, I'll give you a little bit more. We also have been working as one of the milk crate garden distribution sites, and we actually got our first grant to get our garden, new community garden set up last year from Citizens Committee. And this year, our project was already planned to be some raised beds that were on the outside of the garden, so that the community could access them while the garden has to be closed. So we are in the process of trying to fill them with dirt, which is presenting a little bit of a logistical struggle, but hopefully we're gonna be having, well, within the next week or so, we're gonna be having herbs, greens, and tomatoes available on the outside of our garden fence.
That's great. I don't live too far away, so maybe I'll come and steal some vegetables.
Keenan, I wanted to make a couple of points because unfortunately I have to leave a little early.
Yeah, sure.
But I wanted also to give folks a chance to see me for a second before I left. And actually it's better when I have light too. Your stories are super important. We are honored to be able to give you support so that you can continue to uplift your communities. And we really want to be a platform for the issues that you're advocating for your communities, for the folks that in particular are sometimes forgotten and not lifted up. So, you probably talked to Keenan or other staff members before. Many of you filled out our COVID survey, but please continue to send us your stories. As we go out to local media, as we go out to elected officials, we want to have your names, on our hearts and in our stories so that they understand exactly the impact of supporting us and what really supporting you will be. There also will be other opportunities as local press contact us. We don't want to be the ones that are the face of what's happening. We want them to speak directly to you because they want to know what's happening on the neighborhood level. So I have one specific request. If any of you know a hairdresser or a barber or someone that owns a dry cleaner or someone that is a trainer in a gym or someone that works in a nail salon and that they're part of your community, working with them, we particularly want to hear their story because we're doing a certain project that's called At Their Service, because we recognize a lot of folks who are working hourly wage jobs that are in like personal care and working directly with clients in a close proximity. They can't work right now. And we want to make sure that we lift up their stories and figure out ways to make sure that they get assistance. In many of those cases, some of them might be working in cash-only businesses. So the assistance that they might get from some federal programs that are through the IRS or require a certain kind of documentation they might not even have access to. So we would love to hear about them and to speak to them directly. So definitely email Keenan. And also, spread the At Their Service message, even if you don't know anyone in particular, because I think we all have someone who's either cut our hair or helps us with our laundry or what have you. And we really want to lift up those stories to make sure that no one's left behind.
Can you mention that list, that grouping again? Can you mention that group again?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it can be broad, but we kind of define some of the stuff that, on social media, as people are vain, so that sometimes they take selfies. And sometimes you might see like a little, the grays in my chin, or, my afro's growing out a little bit more. It's a little bit more reckless than it would be otherwise. So we did At Their Service for barbers and for hair salon owners and for people that own nail salons and spas, for people that are doing dry cleaners, for example, and for like gym trainers. Those are folks that help us kind of aesthetically look good and, also feel good on the outside. And actually, some of them are confidants. Sometimes of us go to some of those folks and spill our souls out to them, like every, 2 weeks, every month we go see them. But we want to honor them in this moment and lift up the fact that economic recovery for us means that no one's being left behind. And I think that's really important. So, the At Their Service campaign is extremely important. And as you probably already gotten with your award letter or notification, we want you to, scream from the mountaintop that you received an all-in neighborhood grant and make sure that folks hear about what you're doing. We want the local newsletter. We want the, New York One, you to be the New Yorker of the week. We want CBS to have you guys out there, and anything that we can do to amplify you to make sure that that happens, utilize us so that we can do that. And so we're just thankful for all that you do. And I love the fact that folks said that, that hearing each other's stories was inspirational, because our goal is to keep the network together. And, as, their cash assistance programs or food assistance programs or mental health programs that we hear about, we're going to keep blasting those out across New York City so that you can get those out to the folks that you care about, so that we're all taken care of together. So I just want to thank you all for all of your commitment, and, we will get through this, but the way we're going to get through this is together. So Keenan, thank you so much. Thank everyone so much. And if you want to get in contact with me, I was a little bit lazy, didn't put my name up there, but my email address, rharris@citizensnyc.org is up there. So you can get at me directly.
Thanks, Rasan.
All right, so thank you. Take care, everyone.
Great. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. I don't need to say this, but everyone's doing such amazing work. And I want to acknowledge too that you all have been doing this work before COVID, and you're here for the long run, and we appreciate and value our groups that are here for good. And it's just, yeah, it's very energizing and exciting. And Tamara brought up a great point about connecting. Feel free to message people privately in the chat if you want to connect. And we're also going to be sending out like a simple Google sheet with the group names. And if you want to, you can opt in and put your info if you want to be reached out to, but you don't have to. So we'll be emailing that. So that's a good way too, if you see people in your neighborhood or people doing similar work. That's another way you can connect and steal each other's ideas, because in this context, stealing is good. Great, so I'm gonna go over some like grant logistical stuff and then go through that. And then at the end, it'll be like Q&A. So if people have questions, they can definitely ask them. So in terms of grant restrictions, as stated in the award letter that was sent, or the award email, we've really simplified our restrictions that we usually have, given the crisis. And so all we're asking for is a signed grant agreement so we can send you your funds, and then also a simple final report, which we'll send to you at a later time. And that'll just, you know, and just involve some speaking about your experiences through the project. So just very simple. We don't want to make it complicated for you all. So yeah, that's kind of a big difference between past years. So it's a lot more streamlined. So in terms of the grant agreement, if you've already submitted it, amazing, thank you. For just so folks know, we can't give you your money unless we have the grant agreement. And so this year it's a little different because there are a few more options. So this year you can get the funds through an individual account, your group account, so bank account, so an individual bank account, group bank account, if you have like a nonprofit status, of course, or if you have a fiscal agent or a sponsor. And you can either have the check mailed to you, or you can have it deposited through bill.com. If you've requested to get the money wired, you and you've done this already, you should have gotten an email from bill.com. I know it sounds like kind of a weird site, and like if I saw that, I'd probably put it in my spam, but just be aware that bill.com is very legit and it's very trusted and a lot of organizations use it. And so this is our first time really doing like money and grant checks this way. So yeah, so be on the lookout for the bill.com email if you've requested to get your funds wired. If you haven't yet submitted the grant agreement, please do so by May 29th and no later. And if you need any assistance or if you have any questions with the grant agreement, I can ask them. And if anything comes up, you can definitely email me or Carla Naomi Rodriguez, who you've been probably hearing from. She's been doing most of the admin for this grant program. So yeah, so a big change, as I mentioned, is usually we don't give grants to individuals, or we're not allowed to give checks to individual bank accounts, but we can for this purpose of the grant. But if you do request funds as an individual, you need to provide us with the name and contact info for another person involved in the project. So in terms of grant spending and the timeline, the grant can be used for operating expenses related to your project. So this includes things like food, personal protective equipment, like a lot of people mentioned, like masks and gloves, and other supplies needed during the crisis. If your project involves technology and the purchasing of like computer equipment or tablets, feel free to do that. Just like be within reason. So like we don't really want folks to spend a lot of money on like luxury items like Mac products kind of. So just like check in with us before like spending a lot on like technological stuff. And some of the grant can be for stipends. Ideally, the majority is for supplies and materials for your project. In terms of the timeline, most of you may finish your project fast, like quicker than others. But if you need a longer time period, you really have until June, like late June of 2021, so about a little over a year, to complete the project and spend the funds. And of course, we're always available for support if anything comes up with your project. In terms of sharing the news, you're not required to announce that your group was awarded a grant at all. You don't need to include us as a sponsor or put our logo places, but you're welcome to do so. And in your award email, there was like a graphic that you can share, as well as like copy, so stuff you can write on social media. That's pretty simple. So feel free to share if you want to, and you can tag us. You know, that helps just create visibility both for you and for us, and to kind of get the word out there of all the amazing work you are all doing. And if you are already taking photos of the work you're doing, and if you want to share them, please do. That would be great. We're always looking to like highlight groups and to just show the amazing work people are doing. So we love photos. And yeah, feel free to like let us know how your project is going. As former grantees know, like we love hearing from groups and seeing what people are up to and updates. And it's a bummer not being able to do site visits, which is something we usually are able to do. So getting updates is always fun. And then project planning assistance, you know, we're always here to offer input on your project if you want it and need it. How to expand, if you're facing challenges or obstacles, connecting you with other resources, you know, and we'll be upfront if there's an ask and if it's something we can help you with, or if it's something we can't. And if it's not, we can definitely recommend other folks or other places. Yeah, so that was kind of all I have in terms of the logistical stuff. So I think what would be helpful is, and so I'll open it up for like question and answer. And I'm just thinking of a good process. I think what would work is, so I see Tyree asked a question. I think either if you want to like type a question in the chat, or if you just want to like type the word question, and then I can like call on you and then you can ask it. So I guess we can do that and see how that goes. So Tyree asked, will electronic and scanned receipts be accepted? We don't need receipts. Yeah, so you don't need to worry about that. Amani.
Yes, I just wanted to know if everything you just mentioned is somewhere in an email, or I haven't seen that information that you just went over.
Yeah, like the timeline and just restriction stuff.
Yeah.
Let me check. Some of it might be in the email, but I can follow up with my team to see if like we have the like just what I've described somewhere in writing.
Yeah, the supplies and the tech stuff and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else have questions?
Yes. I'd like to know, oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone else have a question beside me? Okay. I wanted to know if how this relates to the original grant that we applied for, and is that now not happening, or will that be considered later, or?
Yeah, so most of you, if not all of you, applied for a 2020 neighborhood grant back in January, which feels like years ago. We are still figuring out what makes sense in terms of that grant, just given guidelines, given like CDC guidelines, given safety protocols. So we're going to be sending out an update in late May. So kind of think about your all-in neighborhood grant as like its own thing, and then the 2020 neighborhood grant, we'll be giving updates then. So, and thanks for your patience. I know it's not fun waiting, but it's just kind of one of those things where we need to figure it out as it comes
It's
along.
June 2021 that we have to be finished.
Tyree, when is the start date so I can backdate to May 13th? So are you saying, Tyree, you already started the project and you wanted to know if that's okay?
Yes. 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 I'm thinking in the agreement, it says from May 13th. So I started budgeting from May 13th through June 2020, thinking that it was June 2020. Now you've corrected me and said that it's June 2021. But how far back can we backdate expenditures? So I started purchasing and billing food from May 13th because that was the date in the email. Is that correct, or do I have to wait moving forward?
The June 2021 date, that's just like if you need the full year to do your project, you can. But if you feel like you're going to do it in a month, then that's also fine. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that answers the question, except for the part about that dating. And when can we start to, like, I understand I can't go back to April because April, the grants weren't awarded yet. But according to the email, it says that the contract period is May 13th through June. And so the somehow I missed the 2021 part. I just want to know in terms of the start date, what is the first date that we can actually bill against our grant?
Okay, cool. I would say just when you got the award letter.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Oh, sorry, Veronica, I think you wrote that and I missed that. Do we need to include a budget for the program? I don't, let me check. I don't think a budget will be needed in the report, but let me check. Because then otherwise you can like make a budget as it suits you, but I don't think a budget will be needed for the report, but I'll get back to you with that. I think Michelle, did you have? Oh, I think I have. Do I have the names? Okay. Anyone else? Questions? Okay. Well, we're always here for support. See question. We have an account.
We have an account, our block association, and we wanted to get the funds deposited there. When I signed the contract, I saw that option, but I did not see any place to put our account number in there for Bill.com to deposit the checks directly.
So you'll get an email from Bill.com. So all you need to do is fill out the grant agreement, which sounds like you did, and then you'll get an email from Bill.com to fill in your account info there.
Okay.
Okay, Eva, you said that you're having trouble with Bill.com. Is it like particular, like just logistical stuff?
Yeah, it's sort of logistical because there are I think you clarified it because I thought we couldn't put it in an individual account. So I was like, I wasn't sure how to proceed. And if I checked, there were some things that you have to check off as you go through each section. So I'm gonna go through it again and see if I can get through it. I called the Miss O'Connor a couple of times, but I don't know if she's getting the the calls because, well, I figure people are not in an office. So so I'll try to tackle it one more time, and then if not, then I guess I'll reach out to folks again tomorrow.
Yeah, were you trying to reach out to Janine?
Yes, O'Connor, or Miss Janine O'Connor, yeah.
Yeah, so she's like a consultant with us who does our finances. So if you're having trouble, I'll put down my colleague Claudia, who's been doing
Okay.
some of the Bill.com stuff. So if
Okay.
so yeah, you can get funds through your individual account. And so if you try that and it doesn't work, you can definitely reach out to Claudia.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I just want to clarify. I heard the answer, but I want to clarify, and I think it needs to be clarified since some people expressed that they were having problems with Bill.com. I did not have issues with putting my information in Bill.com. What I had issues with was the follow-up. It was asking for reports and other things, and you've clarified that they're only using that as an agent to pass the money along. So am I right in thinking all the other things that Bill.com was asking for, such as invoices and receipts and promissory notes for payment, are not needed? It's just used as a vessel to ship the money through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No, that's a great point. Thanks for putting that. Veronica. So Veronica asked, we would like to add some incentives for the students that are taking the program. Yeah, Veronica, I'll chat with you individually about like that kind, because that's kind of just a specific question. So we can chat and figure out more details for that. But in general, like incentives like that are okay if they fit with the project. So Amani.
Yes, I'd like to just know that if there's anything on that original confirmation that we signed agreement, if there's anything that needs to be relooked at or reconsidered or something, like we originally asked for a check and we want a deposit or vice versa, is this the same person, this Claudia, is that the same person to connect with rather?
So if you need to make adjustments on your grant agreement, the person to talk to is Carla. Sorry, it's like a lot of C names. So Carla is grant agreement. I'll write her.
Okay.
C Rodriguez at Citizens. So for grant agreement stuff, you can reach out to Carla. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for your patience with like the Bill.com stuff. Again, it's our first time using it. We usually just do hard copy checks. So it's a learning experience for all of us.
Keenan, what is your role there, or like how can we like utilize you during this time? If you know, what is your main or the main way that you're available to us?
Yeah, so I'm a program coordinator. So pre-COVID, you know, we all, you know, I've worked with groups, supported groups throughout the process of their grant. So, you know, I have some community organizing experience too. So if you need support with your project, you know, if you have like photos you want to share, and yeah, you know, it's funny because our roles are all kind of very shifting these days, but so we're all kind of, it's an all hands on deck project. But yeah, but I'm always, I don't know, I love to hear about people's projects and what people are up to. So
Okay, great, cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send, this is my email, so feel free to email me. And then all our emails are also on our website. Oh yeah, my phone number. Yeah, I have like a weird Google phone number now. And I miss my office landline because the reception is just better on landlines. But yeah, definitely feel free to give me a call. Is that? Yeah, that's my number. Great. Anything else? It's almost 7, so I don't want to keep people too long. And this like it's still light out, which is lovely. Our groups on social media. So I think, Tyree, that's something that I think when we do the like spreadsheet that we'll send out to connect, feel free to like put your handles on there or on here, though I think we'll be wrapping up for this chat. And we usually showcase groups on social media too, so that's always a good way to find people from our Citizens Committee stuff. Great. Well, thank you everyone again. It was really nice seeing new faces and familiar faces. And thanks for all the work you're doing. And we're really excited to be able to support your projects and just the importance for communities during this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hope everyone stays safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.